Time marches on, and the age of a new king draws nearer.
Say.
Welcome back to Metaphor ReFantazio! Why are you reminding me of the mausoleum? I have more pressing things to attend to right now, like the kidnappings in Martira. Last time, we kind of took a bit of a break from the action to handle some political debates and helping out Maria. And this time, we're going to head, like I said, head to the Martira dungeon. Oh. Oh no. That is pain. That is pain and sadness. However, it is Idols Day, so let's take our mind off of that by...
Right away. Right.
Okay, that's expensive, but where we're going, we may need it, and given this is going to be a big full run through a big dungeon, I'm probably going to make back this money. I'll get a few more Balms of Life. And speaking of Balms of Life, so, here is the chest that I missed inside the sandworm.
Whoa, incredible.
Here are the other options for the funny scene in Heismay's hideout.
I am absolutely not old-fashioned or stubborn.
He didn't even finish.
Troll, be more careful!
That's right! He's the only reason we're here. Stroll just had to play the hero and take on a request nobody else wanted.
Oh, I'm the only one playing hero here.
Before we go into the castle, though... Oh, hey, we actually have a discount information for Idols Day. We need to buy the secret of Kriegante Castle. Oh, we can also buy on Inclement Weather. May as well get this out of the way now. Yeah, we're already kind of told this by the tutorial.
That means...
Got a right gem for you.
And the fortune teller will tell you when weather is coming, but let's just say later in the game, there is an even better way to deal with that kind of thing.
He's the real Skinny.
So, an unusual amount of monsters roaming the castle underground right now. Yeah, and you're not suspicious at all that something's going very wrong in this town. And you explain here why you're not too concerned. Yeah, I kind of don't want to really think too much about that, otherwise you could end up becoming one of the people who go missing. Entire menagerie of monsters down there. Giant lizards and the wild hounds. The lizard-like beasts lie in wait underwater. Okay, yeah, that's important to know. The hounds let out a piercing howl if they spot you and the noise fires up their little friends. And now how do you put them to sleep? Well, I have sleep shot on Gunner at this point. Now, interestingly, he doesn't actually tell you about the gimmick of a certain other enemy that's in that area, and for that, I may actually want to buy this, because I think this explains it.
Might bear good tidings.
The treasure monster. I can only guess what it looks like. They'll apparently put you to sleep. You're in for a real bad time if they attack you while you're snoozing. Yeah, that's an automatic critical hit, I believe. Rumor has it there are some accessories that can prevent falling asleep. They sell them at that Gloomhall shop over in Grand Trad, though that's only open at night. The beast is said to be drawn to money. And there are skills that use money.
Got a right gem for you.
And also try stealing from it. All of this is important information to know going into Kriegante Castle, just as it is for the Abandoned Tomb. So I don't have any of those sleep immune items, but we're gonna go in here regardless. I suppose we should see what Heisman has to say before we move out. Yes, we can't overlook this any longer either. We've overlooked it enough to get our debate skills up, but now let's do this.
What do you think?
Got it.
Let us not leave the people of Martira hanging any longer. Today, we are ending this dirty business.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah. I'm going.
So yeah, 2 goals, exterminate the monster and hunt down Morris.
Present and focused.
So this hallway is the same. Or is it?
Yes.
Well, yeah, Heisman has a very good memory. That is indeed the thing that he noticed. But there's something else Heisman noticed that you might remember upon hearing what that monster sounds like, but I'm not gonna go into that just yet. So yes, last time Morris used the unstoppable art of wall to prevent us from moving any further, but this time, turns out there's just a switch here that lets us progress down this side. And I actually love the way that this is handled. These are basically like, yeah, floodgates that we walk on the top of. They aren't just bridges. And the fact that they are floodgates is going to be especially relevant at a certain point. And remember those lizard monsters? Yep, that's what we're warned about. They jump out of the water and ambush you.
We're evenly matched.
This
Guess we better
is
save
a
our powers.
Capsurto. Our first instance of facing lizard men, and one of the very few things in this game that are weak to dark. Or Rancor, as Heisman says. They're also weak to electricity, though I haven't actually got those skills on
I'll cut you down.
Stroll right now. Just dealing with one at a time isn't so bad if you get the preemptive strike, but if they ambush you, they can be a slight issue.
Halfway decent result.
Actually slightly less than halfway decent result. Like I said, if they ambush you, it can be bad. They have a pretty far reach on their spears. And they can also use charge.
Now accept your fate.
So, lizard men are also a fairly common feature of fantasy nowadays. You can see them in games like Dungeons & Dragons and also Warhammer. They're actually a fairly new addition to the fantasy monster menagerie. They originated in the 1920s in basically pulp works of fiction. And, okay, yep, there are some dogs there. Oh, and Hulkenberg is frostbitten. I think I'll need to get rid of that somehow. And that somehow is switching to healer and partnering it. Two authors invented the concept of lizardmen relatively simultaneously. The first was Robert E. Howard in his novel King Kull from 1926, and the second was, interestingly, Edgar Rice Burroughs, who you might know if you're a Disney fan as the original author of Tarzan. Edgar Rice Burroughs created a species of humanoid reptiles that live in the hollow center of the Earth,
Commendable technique, everyone.
in the Pellucidar, I think that's how you pronounce that series, which later crossed over with Tarzan in 1930, in the story Tarzan at Earth's Core. Yeah, the original Tarzan stories were kind of crazy, and there's actually apparently a like the Disney Tarzan series actually draws from the original Edgar Rice Burroughs stories quite a bit, and even includes some elements from them that weren't in the movie, like Queen La, I believe, is from those original stories.
I see the end.
And like the Leopard Man, I think.
Act fast, and we'll win this. Forward.
Whew, not too shabby. Let's keep this up, everyone.
Those two works around the same time kind of originated the trope of lizardmen. The thing is, though, I feel like lizardmen in fiction are one of those fantasy creature archetypes that might be rooted in actual problematic racial stereotypes. Namely, there's a common tendency to portray reptilian humanoids as being kinda sapient, but also having their own, like, cultures that are reminiscent of humans. Just very, very primitive ones. In a lot of ways, they're often used as an allegory for, basically for tribes of people from colonized regions that didn't have the same technology that the colonizers did. I don't know if it's always been entirely intentional, but a lot of those pulp works from the 1920s did have very heavy colonist overtones to them, and so I wouldn't be surprised if some of those tropes make their way into Lizardman. And at the same time, I don't know exactly where, it might have actually been that's the reason why. A lot of Lizardmen in modern media, I love the candles here, like the atmosphere that creates. But like, a lot of Lizardmen in modern media often have very Mesoamerican cultures to them.
This could be our chance.
Like, in both Dungeons and Dragons, with the Yuan Ti, and, I mean, they're snake people, not lizard people, but still, kind of similar difference. And in Warhammer with the, it's always so satisfying to one-shot everything with that, in Warhammer with the Lizardmen, like, granted, Warhammer's Lizardmen are also, like, I wouldn't know, I don't know if this negates the kind of cultural appropriation at all, but like, Warhammer's Lizardmen are typically presented as fairly sympathetic by Warhammer standards. In fact, by the time of Age of Sigmar, they've actually become, like, order-aligned demons.
This'll do it. Hey, head down. Let's press.
Hang on.
What now?
If you're stunned, then I'm not gonna waste this opportunity to just go.
Mage.
Mage!
I see the enemy.
Charge!
Cause yes, oh boy, there's two of them. Yeah, I'm even more glad that I'm doing this.
Do this.
So yeah, now that we have 4 party members, Meteor 4 won't consume all of our press turns. It's still a lot of MP to be using here. Oh, it's also only single target. You know what, maybe Garbot is better. How much is this gonna do? That's not a massive amount of damage, but
Got them right in their weak spot.
I suppose we can... okay, one of them is no longer stunned.
I'm all prepared.
What about Botra? Probably need to go off of Hulkenbergs for this for...
Don't get sloppy, Captain.
Yeah, so, these things, as I said, have a passive evasion modifier. Yet, for some reason, Stroll just keeps dodging. I don't know why Stroll keeps dodging. No steal off of that, unfortunately. Just Gubbot again. But yeah, passive evasion modifier. Thankfully, they haven't used Fishy Fandango yet. I've seen people in my comments call these things, Fish Matador, and yeah, that makes sense.
So much for that.
Stepping back. Mage.
Okay, yeah, that is the problem with Mage. Its standard attack is usually not very good, unlike some other, more physically inclined archetypes. Well, I mean, that was at least an unscathed triumph, thanks to Stroll miraculously dodging. I don't know why Stroll is very evasive in this run for me. Might not actually be a bad thing to start inheriting some fire on people, just in case we run into more of those things. Okay, I'm still getting 10% from that, even if no one else is a gunner, but... you know what, actually, I'll probably just switch to mages whenever we fight the Homo Theos again. We could also benefit from Gunner's, like, agility-boosting passives there. Speaking of things we don't benefit from, though, with Gunner, that map, item is on the other side of that wall. Yeah, my regular attack is not exactly the best for breaking, on-stage objects. And hi there, Lizardman, I thought you'd appear there.
I'll give it my all.
But yeah, like, when it comes to Lizardman in Warhammer, one of the main things I remember is an old battle report from an issue of White Dwarf. Okay, yeah, passing will go straight to Heisme, and okay, that was a kill. I was wondering if it wouldn't be. But it was kind of an interesting one called The Folly of Prince Roderick. I don't know if it's, like, available to read anywhere online, but it's one of my favorite battle reports for Warhammer in a White Dwarf issue, because one side of that battle consisted entirely of characters. The premise was a Bretonnian expedition of exiled nobles who are all terrible people, by the way, which makes you not really feel bad with what ends up happening in this story, in this battle report. But basically, a bunch of exiled Bretonnian nobles plunder a Lustrian, that's the city, that's the region of, like, the Lizardmen. It's effectively South America. Plunder a Lustrian temple, for...
What now?
Oh yeah, that thing did not stay stunned for very long.
This'll do it!
And again, those things lunge very far. I should have learned my lesson from the first one. But anyway, while we're fighting them, I can okay, well, good thing the charge attack went off on my knight. But yeah, I can talk about that particular battle report.
Their weakness.
My aim
So, in this battle report, the interesting gimmick was that because they plundered one of the temples, like previously, all of the Bretonnian characters got to choose a certain point's worth of items from the Lizard Men magic items list, which was kind of a unique gimmick. So, and a lot of the models were also specifically converted, so I remember you had one of them like holding like... Why is Stroll dodging so much? I shouldn't be complaining, but that's Heismay's job. Stroll, are you trying to put Heismay out of a party role here?
Still here?
But yeah, anyway, they all... like, were converted. Like, one of the models was wearing, like, a Stegodon skull helmet, and one of the others had, had a lizard man weapon. Like, it was really, like, cool conceptually. But the idea is that it was basically just entirely characters versus an entire army of lizard men that were basically having to pursue them, and the lizard man player got a certain allowance of, of traps, and, I think it was called encounter points. So, every time one of the Bretonnians stepped on a jungle or like an area of ruins or terrain, the Lizardmen player could spend encounter points to make hilarious things happen. Like, one of the Bretonnians almost got out and then got om-nom-nom by a carnivorous plant. That's essentially what that whole game entailed. So, spoilers for that battle report, they all died. Like literally every single one of them died. Yes, and the lizard men recovered their artifacts and everyone lived happily ever after. The end, I guess. They falter! Yes, nice one, Heisman. But yeah, that battle report always comes to mind for me when I think of lizard men in general, just because that was just a fun game as far as the battle reports go. I really should not be blowing so much of my MP right now. The problem is, though, I really, really do not like these things. So this is worth a little bit. This costs a bit more, and that's on 3 people. So that is a lot of MP total. Maybe I should just try a Botra. Yeah, not super major in the damage department. Like, this is the kind of thing that would be a lot easier if you're doing a magic build pro tag. Let me just check what Homophios actually has to steal. Okay, it is Iron Headgear, which, if I'm remembering right, is the thing that gives dodge slash. So that's actually not a bad thing to try and get. There it is, okay. I don't know why Gallica seems to reserve her snarkiest comments for your stealing quotes. Like, she gets pretty snarky if you fail to steal, and then she also has some funny lines to say if you succeed at stealing. Like, these things are worth good amounts of experience. The problem is they're going towards, like, mage archetypes and people that I don't want. That is kind of decent, though. Granted, Heismay is not the person whose MP I really particularly care about right now. So, because we have chests in this area, now we need to start checking chests with face sights. If they're white, it's fine. I wish I had known about this in my first playthrough, but I sadly didn't. You know, the rate this is going, Hulkenberg might be the one who ends up getting their 2nd tier archetype first. She only needs 3 more levels a night. But up here... Give me item. Okay, blessed water's always good to have. This thing right here.
Come say hello, treasure.
Gallica, I think you might want to not speak too soon. You'll notice a faint red aura around that. It is quite subtle, and yes, that indeed does solve that, Will. It's quite subtle, but if you know it's there, that's your cue to prepare. And by prepare, I mean either have a merchant or inherit the gold attack skill onto somebody. And you'll also want Hummer. Okay, Will already had Hummer inherited, so let's give that to him. And a thief or somebody inheriting steel is also not a bad idea. As the informant said, these things do carry valuable steals. Yeah, you get a different animation here, because... Yeah, remember what I said before? Also, I just realized I probably should have switched Hulkenberg over to healer because I have that increases damage against mimic monsters. I also had that on merchant, so I could have switched Heisman to that. But this is not the last mimic we'll be seeing in this dungeon.
They're pretty tough. Better be careful.
I like how this thing has a lock on its face. So yeah, this is your classic chess mimic monster. Couldn't be a fantasy RPG without one of these. And couldn't steal. But it is weak to light. It is actually quite strong though. As you can see, it has a lot of health. Like, in my first playthrough, I actually got destroyed by this thing. So I needed to reload this fight several times. So just be very, very careful here, especially if it puts you to sleep and starts spamming its AoE attacks. However, if we pay some money to use gold attack, it's getting a little bit more damage in. Go down to about half. It will give up half its press turns if it has been enticed by money. And that's extremely valuable because it has 3 press turns on hard mode and it can do some really, really bad things. Like, for example, again, putting your whole party to sleep using AoE physical attacks. Trust me, don't underestimate Imitex. They are very dangerous. I have been brutally killed by them before. Come on, Steel, work please. There we go, okay, Blessed Water. That's not quite what I was hoping for, but it's better than nothing. And goodbye. But not quite what I was hoping for. This thing doesn't have any, like, additional steals. It's just like, you know, there are some versions of this that have even better steals.
Alright.
Our risk pays off.
Of course, now we get that. Also, this accessory is a reference to Goemon, and not just the Persona 5 Goemon, the Goemon that he's a reference to. Goemon was a famous Japanese, was a legendary ninja from Japanese folklore who used a steel pipe. As in, like, a smoking pipe, not like a pipe to bash people over the head with, but a lot of variations of Goemon in like, fantasy media that references him usually have him using the pipe as a weapon too, so I guess it is a pipe that he bashes people over the head with.
Looks like it could be.
So, after that, we have a save point already. I kind of want to pick this up. And I believe there's a very good reason why they're giving us a save point now. Though before we go in there, I think pre-save point is a good time to use up some of my items. So let's give, I suppose Hulkenberg can take more magic. Hulkenberg, speaking of which though, is pretty close to getting to the next tier of Knight. And there we go, we now have mastered our first mastered archetype, mastered the Knight archetype, and that means we get the mastery bonus of boosting endurance by 2 permanently. And that was another reason why I couldn't rely on, like, finished playthroughs for fighting this level 99 stats of every character by default, because, like, that doesn't take into account mastery bonuses. And I suppose I should use the rest of these on Stroll's Warrior to get him closer to Swordmaster. I have 10 of these little ones. And get him up to, like, 18. Now, I think I will use a few MP heals now, but eventually I may have to do a mage run around and kill minor enemies trip to get my MP back up.
Check this out.
So, also, I love how Heizme is hanging upside down in these rooms. But yes, let's talk to allies. I really don't like missing these conversations. It's just, I liked them in Persona 5 as well. Very dense Magla. Okay, there. Thank you, resident magic expert of the party. Yeah, it seems like the lights are powered by Magla in this world, so it kind of makes sense a stronger force would be able to snuff them out. Now, normally, I would unlock Magic Knight on Hulkenberg now, but I actually want to keep fighting with regular Knight on her for a little bit, because there's something that I've been waiting to talk about for a very, very, very long time. It's one of my favorite aspects of this game. But first, Morris, hi there. We don't really have, like, any real place to stand on here, telling him to not run because he's on the other side of a channel of water. Not exactly the most threatening position that we're in. Yeah, the thing is, I'm pretty sure that Barton is the one guard in this town that is not corrupt, so he might not be of use to us in this circumstance. Especially not when Morris can summon the thing. Whatever that is. So here is why they gave us that save point.
That being the case,
I see.
And the game does tell you you can fight this thing if you want to. The thing is, it is stronger than the boss of this dungeon. And you get barely any reward for winning. It's not like the dragon in the mines. So, what I'm actually going to do is, I'm not going to fight this thing now. I will be showing the fight with it when I fight the main boss of this dungeon. Reason being that if I showed this fight now, it would make the dungeon's main boss look like an anticlimax, because this is the harder version. So, we're basically gonna go stealth here. Also, meanwhile, we need to pick this up, because we default to hiding in one of these passageways. Okay, it's over there. So yeah, we can watch it, and yeah, we don't want to be moving past while it's there, so let's just sneak around here. Yeah, we don't really know what kind of monster it is. Okay, it's moving back. Let's not move forward yet, because it is kind of, yeah, now we can go. Take that. The map does actually tell you where it is. It's that purple triangle there. But with that, we can proceed forwards. You've successfully escaped, and the lights are back on.
all right. Be that as it may.
So, like, in a way, this dungeon has some mild survival horror elements. I did say before the Grand Cathedral was the only dungeon that really feels like Persona 5. You're kind of seeing that now. Kriegante Castle is very, very, very different. But now,
There they are.
we have some Tiefs. Okay, we can kill those in the field. I kind of want to fight them in battle, just because I want to show they're weak to pierce, and that's partly why I've got Gunner and Will right now.
These are just small fry. If we play it cool, we'll cruise right through.
These are the Ochre Homotenta, and they null electricity and repel fire, so be careful what elements you use. But other than that, yeah, let's actually try a Plunder Magic. 8. Well, yeah, net a profit of 7. But I mean, that still gets you a few casts of some standard skills. But the main thing that I wanted to do here was, actually, do I have? No, I don't have. That kind of requires 2 gunners, I'm pretty sure. Take you out with a poison shot, and I can take you out with a standard pierce attack. Yeah, because shield arts is a strike attack, so that's not going to be particularly effective. They don't resist slash, so I can just Beast Fang Katana you. It's obviously way better to fight these things on the field if you're high enough level, but I wanted to show off what they could do in battle too.
Great work, everyone.
So, notice how Hulkenberg is still building up a little bit of a meter on her Mastered Knight archetype. Once that goes up to full, I will explain to you just why I absolutely love, well, one of the many reasons why I absolutely love this game. It's also, in my opinion, even better to Lizard Man. Hi there. And I think we've learned earlier to not underestimate them, because they have very big range on their spears. I cannot believe you didn't hit me that time. Yeah, even a gunner is not doing a great job of picking them off at range. Oh, hi bajillions of Homotentas. Okay, there's Heisman's crit animation for the first time. It's not particularly impressive on his normal attack, but, you know, Heisman's cool, so he gets away with it.
Great job, everybody.
Unscathed Triumph, and yeah, more of them, almost halfway there. Yeah, I need to equip the Prowler's Pipe there. Okay, no, it's the Fencer's headgear that increases evasion against slash. The Iron headgear is just a defense and evasion boost, okay. Well, I guess those Hobo Theos are not that lucrative after all. And up here we have the Circle of Teeth!
I see the
That was one left, goodbye.
I can feel greater power within.
Well, yeah, certainly, that is some very good, greater power within, and now, oh, yeah, this area is way too quiet. There are Capsurdos here, I just know it. Yep, hi there!
There they are. Take this.
It's always good to strike them right after they come out of the water, because that's when their stun gauge is at the lowest.
Okay, not bad at all.
Okay, level up on you. 25 is actually getting sort of high by this dungeon standards.
I see.
And another Teeth, sorry about that, Mr. Teeth, but I need to take you down, and Hero's Essence, and... Oh, hi. Okay, good, we got it. Is that targeting the... Yeah, it is the Elementor. Okay, with that down, I want to say, with the... Okay, that's not a ton of archetype experience, it's more for the mag. But, there we go! So, Hulkenberg just leveled up an archetype that is maxed out. What does that do? It gives you a Hero's Leaf of Light. What does that do? It gives you 1,000 archetype experience. I cannot express how much I absolutely adore this.
A new power to wield.
Speaking of which, Stroll now has Slash Boost. And he gets Strength +2 from mastering the Warrior archetype. So on that note, I can go ahead and awaken on this menu.
I see.
Magic Knight on Hulkenberg.
This, right? All right.
Now, this will be a stat reduction overnight to start with, but it will have higher stats at higher levels. So that's the trade-off of using a higher level archetype.
I see.
So yeah, now Hulkenberg can defend against not just physical, but also magical attacks.
I've acquired a new power.
And Stroll can unlock the Swordmaster.
Fascinating. This, right? All right.
Now, this will not have Slash Boost by default, so swapping to this immediately will actually be a pretty big downgrade in power for Stroll, unless I spend enormous amounts of mag to inherit Slash Boost, which I probably want to do eventually, but not yet.
A new ability.
But, see, with this, I can actually show something. Because I kind of would like to fight more as Warrior to benefit from the Slash Boost right now, I'm not going to change, and I'm going to use the Hero, oh no, I already used that Hero's Leaf of Life. But I can use a Hero Incense on Swordmaster to level up a bit without actually using it. So like I said, this is why I absolutely, like, this is one of my favorite things about this game's gameplay mechanics. Because a lot of the time in RPGs with job systems, I find that you often don't use the optimal classes on characters, because the moment you max them out, you need to start working on different jobs to, you know, get the skills you need, get the stat bonuses you need, or whatever. Anything that has bonuses for mastering jobs, or ones that let you inherit skills from different jobs, they can have this problem. For example, like, sometimes, a lot of the time in Fire Emblem Fates, I like to use Xander as a paladin. But every level I spend with him as a maxed out paladin is a level that I'm not spent teaching him Soul from Hero, for example. So, I might have to put him in Hero for a bit. But then, I am not using Xander on a horse, he has lower movements. In this game, I don't have that problem. Because I can just use whatever classes that I feel are the best at any given time, and never need to worry about quote-unquote missing out on archetype experience and the like. Because whenever you fight with a maxed out archetype, you are gaining experience towards getting a Hero's Leaf of Light, which you can use to level up archetypes you are not currently equipping. And then you can go ahead and equip those at the times when it makes the most sense to. It's just such a brilliant system, and I could not wait to sing the praises of it now.
Smooth finish.
In a way, I feel, though, it's kind of more a thing when it comes to my own playstyle, because, I definitely operate in that kind of thing where I like to be, quote-unquote, working on something at any given time. So if I've maxed something out already, it feels like a waste of my time to continue leveling it. But the problem with this approach is that sometimes it feels like you're using characters with certain weapons, spells, or classes, not because you actually want to use that character in that class or with that weapon, but just because it's like a chore or busy work. I actually see this most prominently in Royal Mithril's Secret of Mana Let's Play. That is a Mimic. But the one down here I would presume is not. I do have to fight the Mimic though, because it is good experience and worth good items. But before I do that, I just want to kind of finish this tangent. Oh, Meta Break Hammer! You might want to save that for a little later in the story. Or I can give that tangent while I fight this Mimic. So yeah, the whole, you do need to set inherited skills separately for advanced archetypes. I'm glad that I realized that. In Roam's Secret of Mana Let's Play, every time he swapped the weapons on characters, you'd hear him say something like, oh right, no, the hero's name, he named the hero Val. I'm just trying to remember what he called the characters in his Let's Play. But it's like, I was just referring to them by their like original, like just default names. But like, for example, like, the sprite needs to work on the whip right now. Like, that whole term, like that wording, this character needs to work on this right now. It's not like this character being a warrior right now is going to be, like, effective to my strategy. It's, I can't use this character as a warrior because he needs to work on mage right now to get a skill that he needs for later. Like, I hope that, like, this is all making sense, but, like, that's why I love this particular mechanic. The fact that, like, you could continue to level archetypes after they're maxed, and it will give you archetype experience items. I did use gold attacks, so that's not nearly that bad. Yeah, Crushing Blow is the really problematic attack this thing can use. If you're all asleep when that happens, it will crit you a lot, and it will get a whole bunch of extra turns, and it's not a fun time for anyone except the Mimic. And other heroes leave of life. Light.
We found something.
We found something. I love it. But yes, that is a Seeker weapon. It is not as good as the gold sword for Seeker that we bought back in Grand Trad, so probably should be using Seeker a little bit right now. The main reason why I'm not is because there's only one thing that's weak to wind in this dungeon, and it's so weak that it's going to die on the field anyway. Okay, Stroll's MP is low. I'm going to top him up a little bit just in case we... Oh, hi, Morris.
You cur.
Silence.
Once again, we can't exactly do much to him from over that water. And yep, return of the monster.
Why are you still here and not in someone's belly?
Also, that line is just like... Like, it doesn't even vaguely resemble what he says in the dialogue box, but it's just like, the voice actor must have had a blast when he read that he needed to read out that line.
Got a sec?
So yes, we have yet another one of these stealth segments, but once again, it's another opportunity to actually fight this monster if you want to. Oh, hi there. Hi there. Yeah, let's not... but now, as you can see by the map, it actually rotated at the wrong time. Okay. Yeah, you can just run from this.
I shall fight as the noble I am.
I didn't expect to actually screw that up that badly, but,
Got it?
yeah, it turned around too quickly for my liking. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have even tried when it was, pointing that way. Okay, now it's moving that way. It is swinging around the channel.
It's okay.
It almost sounds like Gallica's trying to soothe that monster by going, it's okay. Okay, that is a Decaja in item form. Might be good against Homo Tenta. No, I'm not falling for that again. Yeah, when I first played, I was just... This stealth section was easy, but, like, you know, having to talk at the same time... where are you? There you are. Okay. You can actually see it now. Oh, yeah, it sweeps all the way up the area. So that is actually, yeah. That's a slight difference that it now has. Can I sneak around here this time? I can. Let's grab that, and now just be careful of... Oh, it's pretty close. Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah, it's doing the sweep. So, yeah, that would have caught me if I had been a little bit further forward. Hi there. Could you please not be here very much? Nope, let's not. Yep, that's bad. Yeah, have you tried not being a giant hungry demon monster? Maybe that's a good thing for you. It's gonna sweep again, isn't it? Yeah, here's the thing. It goes up the channel that way now, so yeah, can't go that way. Okay, gotta wait for it to be sweeping on the other side. Like that. I think that's good. Yeah, let's go. And they put some pots in the way just to be a jerk. And we're out. And it looks like almost like some kind of giant jellyfish, but like as for what its true form is, we'll find out later.
But
yes, having a giant demon monster thing that you can summon is a very good way to it's a very good distraction for your enemies. Gallica, don't jinx it. That is almost certainly not the last thing we'll be seeing of that monster. So, by moving through here, we get into the Old Reservoir, the next major leg of this dungeon. In fact, even though there is not a save point here, yeah, I know this is kind of an awkward place to cut this, because I usually like to end my dungeon parts at save points, but this is the next major leg of this place, and I think it's this is a good time to save things for the next part, so I'll see you all then.